about Motivate to Elevate?
Motivate to Elevate was or still is, but it started out as a blog. Back in 2013, I wanted to write a book, and I did some research online. And one guy was like, if you want to write a book, or the best way to write a book is to blog about it. So I said, wow, that's powerful. I don't have to sit down and write the whole book at once. All I needed to do is put out some articles on my blog every single week. And that's how I started it. You know, every single week I would post. It was on Sunday. I would post one article and then share it with a few friends, and they started liking it and giving me feedbacks and what have you. And then as we go, I added Tuesdays, and I call it Motivation Tuesday or Tuesday Motivation, something like that. So it grew, and this honestly was way before public speaking. And then when public speaking started, how the story, when people started asking me, Professor, you need to share your wisdom, or at least from what they thought was wisdom. To me, it was just like sharing the little bit of things that I read here and there. But people took it as, knowledge that they could share with the world. So when really push come to shove, I was like, you know what, I can do this because I've already written about, I think it was about like 70 articles on personal development. So I just went back there and then started, rewriting everything that I had already written about self development, self help, and things like that. So basically, that's how that thing was born. But right after the blog started and I started to write, it hit me that what I really wanted to do with Motivate to Elevate was really to travel the world and motivate the masses. Because to me, that's how you can bring bliss and abundance in the world. If everybody can take care of themselves, and who can't? The problem is not them not being able to take care of themselves, but it is not believing that they can. I would always say that really, if you want to change things, do not go out there and start changing things. You need to change yourself first.
Wow.
Because when you change what's inside, everything that's outside start being changed for you. So the goal was that, and I had a very lofty dream that someday I would own my private jet and I would be able to travel the world, speaking to people, motivating them, uplifting them, because I'm part of the people who believe that, we are all full of potential. And let me tell you, I think that's the reason why even I verse myself into coaching now. I've recently launched a coaching practice that is called Mentium. Mentium is actually about the mind. Because what I came to realize is that we are lacking a lot of things, or we are not able to do a lot of things, not because we can't, but because our mental fitness is not that strong.
Wow.
So I turned Motivate to Elevate into Mentium, to make it a full coaching practice where I will be able to work with people. But I would have to say that my niche is really to work with entrepreneurs, beginners and seasoned alike. Because to me, if I can help them build their mental fitness, if I can help them do that, they will be able to unleash the power that is in them to build better and bigger businesses in order to serve the communities where they live and work.
Wow.
So that's really what I'm trying to do there. Yes.
It, one of the things that we all know about you is you have this unlimited, endless well of optimism, not just for yourself, but especially for others. And when people read Fated to Win, the book that you authored recently, there are times in that book where it is almost impossible to believe the amount of optimism that you had in your own dream in pursuing your education. Where does that optimism come from?
Well, I would have to say that optimism came from being a believer.
Ooh.
You know, because God, the Lord of all worlds, is the sustainer, the owner, the most powerful, the most high, someone who knows everything, and who, when he created mankind, he said that the human being is his favorite among all his creation. Now, if you fall into that category, you cannot but be optimistic. Because let me put it this way, if you're a father of a household and you have children, and some of them really know that they are your favorite, they can expect for you to deal them the better hand,
Wow.
to serve them the most powerful way. Like to me, when God created us, He wanted us to succeed. And that's the title of my book, Fated to Win.
That's great.
We are all fated to win. There is absolutely no reason for us to believe that things are impossible. You and I had this conversation once, and we talked about impossible being an oxymoron.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because impossible in English, the word is actually I am possible.
Yes.
So to me, you know, coming across things like that gave me the belief that really everything that we want, everything that we want to be, do, or have is within our reach.
That's good.
So to me, I think that's where my optimism comes from. And I believe it for myself, I believe it for the people around me, because I know if we can spread that around, the world will be a better place.
And your accountability group, your mastermind group, Miss Tunisia Harris and Miss Papillon Blanca, Butterfly White. Tell me about how the three of you bounce ideas.
Look, I think it is something that is not that cannot be expressed with words. I'll tell T, and that's Tanisha. I call her T. When we got on the phone, it is very rare that we do not speak at least 2 hours. And those are moments that I really enjoy intellectually, because we bounce off ideas that are so strong and so powerful. And sometimes I tell her this, T, when we are in this realm, I want you either to record or to start writing, because it will come a moment where I don't recognize myself. I don't know if I say those things or not, because I know prior to getting to the call, I didn't have those ideas. But it seems like the synergy that our minds build together is out of this world. And I would say the same thing or even more to my sister Butterfly. I think all of you being African Americans and me being African, there is something that is linking us that is higher that we could never explain. To me, it is, I, I really don't know. I don't know, but I know this. When I met the two of you, each of you, these were my words. You were meant for greatness. The world is waiting to hear your voice. But why did I choose to say your voice and not your work or your deeds? But there was something about you two, about voice, about what we can do together to elevate the masses. You know, that's the second time that I'm using the word masses. And the reason is, if you serve the masses, you will ultimately be in the classes. You're not serving the class, but you serve the mass. I mean, look, I don't even know why I say that. But this is what happens when we are around each other. There is something so powerful that is emanating from us that might not belong to us necessarily, but it belongs to our collective spirits.
You said masses.
Yes.
When you speak to the masses, you are automatically placed into those classes.
Yes. When you serve the masses, you will ultimately belong to the classes. You know, it is a belief that I have, and I believe that's the reason why we are launching Conversation of Elevation. You know, everything about this is about elevating people. And Butterfly, I remember this very well. There was a day we were over the phone and I was driving around Inverness. And when we were talking about the blog, Motivate to Elevate, I was driving past an apartment complex called Elevate. And I was like, what is this? We are talking about elevation, and right now I'm just driving past the Elevate, the apartment, and I was like, you know, sometimes this is how things happened. You speak it, they come to fruition. You speak it, they become reality. So I believe that's the reason why we came together to form what will be one of the most listened to podcasts in the universe. I just spoke it. And it is called Conversation of Elevation because we want to conversate to elevate people. This is actually the dream. And it will be with a dream team, 3 people who are equally gifted, equally generous, equally talented, but also people who know that caring for others is also self-care. Because you can only succeed when you uplift others. Otherwise, it's just a walk in the park alone. Not memorable, not, I don't even know my next word. But hey, tune in because Conversation of Elevation is on its way and you're going to enjoy it. That's the promise. Peace out.